Sup nerds, I'm Wes.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Aaron.
Today, we're investigating Tower of Madness by Smirk and Dagger.
You may have seen Tower of Madness on our channel before. We actually did an interview with Kurt from Smirk and Dagger at Gen Con this year and last year, because we're that cool. I heard about this a long time ago from Kurt, and I've been really interested ever since he got the inception of the idea. So we took a look at this in 2017 when it was still super prototype, and then just earlier this month we got to take a look at the final. We got to take a look at what you see here.
And now we've actually had time to play it, and it's
with Kurt
and ourselves some more. It's just insane. It's madness. It does have some table presence that bam, you see it, you're like, what is this gimmick? What is this? I need to touch it, right? It is kind of gimmicky. You want to pull it, and it makes all this noise, drops marbles. This pulling of the thing is kind of almost akin to drawing out of a bag, except sometimes you could draw out of the bag and get nothing. You could pull a tentacle and nothing drops.
You could have a blank token in the bag or something.
Yeah, exactly. So it could have just been that, but this is awesome. This is you have that oh my god, it's this
reverse Jenga feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Kerplunk.
Kerplunk. Yeah. I always say Plinko. I know that's not Plinko.
Well, this definitely captivates your attention. It demands the table. Everyone walking by stops and sees it. The bulk of the gameplay actually doesn't involve this at all. It essentially is a dice game. So you have these 5 dice, and it's kind of Elder Sign-esque, where every turn you're trying to get a 1, 2, and 3, and then with the last 2 dice, the highest combination number possible. Well, basically, there's things that can change that. And so you roll the dice, you pick 1 to lock in, and then you roll them again. And you can lock in as many as you want, but you have to lock in at least 1 every single turn to get a reroll. And so you roll, let's say I lock these 2 in, roll, lock that one in, roll, I keep that one. So you have to get the 1, 2, and 3 in order to actually complete the round and score anything, and the 2 highest competes to who actually wins that location, and that's the bulk of the game. And this comes into the consequences of if you lose, you draw a tentacle, and then the resulting marbles is what punishment or reward you get, because you could really suck and just get nothing here and then draw and be oh, I just got 9 points from marbles that dropped out.
I do like that, because the dice mechanic and the locking them in, sometimes you get real lucky. Your first throw and you're oh,
sometimes
wow, there we go. Yeah, sometimes. But it does feel really tight. There are spell cards and other things that you can do, that you can use to mitigate your luck, but there are times when you're wow, this is really hard to do. If your first roll is bad, you're uh-oh, the odds are against me. But it's not just the odds are against you completely, because you could pull this and be oh, I get to draw 2 spells and I just got a bunch of points. It was actually good in a way that I won this, because maybe you got more points from this than from the actual card, which not likely, but it
for
can
me.
happen.
It happened for me.
For you?
I had 5 of these, but I had 2 locations I won. I didn't win the game, but
It happened for me, but I went mad in the process.
Yeah. Oh my god. There was one time when Wes. Now, granted, we were halfway through, and we kind of had pulled all of one side in a way. It was a little loppy-sided, and then Wes just grabs it and goes...
Loppy-sided?
Yeah, because it was all loppy to that one side, and then Wes just grabs his tentacle and goes like that, and literally half the whole thing came out, and he was ah! And now, I don't think that's the type of thing that would happen all the time, but when you're just drawing out of a bag, come on, that's never going to happen,
That would never
right?
happen.
yeah, exactly. So draw another one, draw another one, draw another one.
It's also a little bit Wes's fault, because he did yank the crap out of that thing.
No, the amount of force I put on this has nothing to do with the tower. See, I pulled that out harder than I pulled that at that table, and nothing happened.
You guys have no idea how many times Wes had to set that up to make that work that way.
Each player is going to take on the role of a different investigator with a different asymmetrical ability. They'll give you some sort of perk, which, it could be you score more points on your discoveries, or you can just, get rid of your madness tokens in different ways. There's lots of different ways to mitigate things. One thing that everybody can get is if you roll 2 5s, you get to take one of these tokens that are out here that give you a special ability. Either you can give away some of your madness, you can have a reroll at the end to break your tie if somebody ends up tying with you for lead investigator. There's things that you can stop somebody from pulling out the tentacle, which if you're getting towards the end of the game, you might want to take that so that us as the investigators can all win, and one of us will ultimately really win. Those kind of really help, if you can get those double 5s. There definitely is a lot of luck in the dice. That's how dice games are. But locking in one die each time, at least you have some ray of hope. It's like, okay, I rolled, I got a 1, sweet. Rolled, I got a 3. Okay, I'm gonna lock that one in.
But if it's your first roll and you're like, oh, I have to lock in this 6. Oh, I have to lock in this other 6. You're like, that's great. But now I have to have like near perfect rolls as I go forward, and that's the dicey part.
And then to even mix the game up more, the locations, a lot of them have some kind of ability, and they can really mess that strategy up. Like there's some locations that like your first roll, you have to lock in 2 dice, or if you roll this at all during your turn, this combination, you just lose automatically, or you have to get all 1s instead of 1, 2, 3. So a lot of things like that keep every round fresh, and so it doesn't feel like you're just playing the same dice game over and over and over again, and just who won this time.
There is a lot of RNG in this game. Not just because it's a dice game, but because all the locations can have different things that you have to, different like rule sets you have to abide by. The forbidden knowledge can help you out. The spells can really, add a lot of stuff there and your different player abilities. So at its core, this game is very light and silly. There is strategy. There's a lot of decisions to be made, especially when you start getting a lot of spell cards or if you're using this a lot, rolling a lot of double 5s, and it's not all luck, but there is a decent amount of luck, and especially with the tower.
Yeah.
So it's a game that demands you treat it with the silliness factor. You know what I mean? Like you do have strategy with it, but if you come at this game and you're like, I am in it to win it, I'm gonna min-max this, you're not gonna have a good time because you wanna just have a couple beers and go insane with your friends. Like, so thematically, it doesn't really feel like a beer and pretzels kind of game, but I think it kind of is.
Yeah, you cannot, like you said, come into it too seriously because first pull, you could knock down 2 of the Cthulhu green marbles, and now you're 1 marble away from everyone losing. So, like, within a couple turns, it could just be game over. And, like,
I mean, in theory, you could do all 3 with the first pull. It's just really, really unlikely.
Yeah. I also really like that. So, in like most Cthulhu games, there's a way for your investigator to go mad and they're crazy, but you don't necessarily lose that way. Then you become an opponent to the other people at the table, and every turn, you don't get to roll the dice anymore, so you're not having quite as much fun, but you do still get to pull a tentacle every turn, and if you cause Cthulhu to rise, if you are the one who pulls the tentacle that causes that 3rd marble to fall, then you technically win the game as an investigator, and everyone dies anyway because Cthulhu's here, but you feel like, I caused this.
At the end of the day, I do really like this game. It is a lot of fun, and it's just that you have to just have fun with it. It's goofy, it's light, and this is pretty gimmicky. It's better than a bag like we were talking about, but at the end of the day, do you need to have this thing here for the gameplay per se? Not really, but this is the feel of pulling these tentacles. Oh, nothing happened. The feel of there we go. The feel of that, and everybody at the table like and the look, the table presence, all that stuff, that all contributes to the game. It is a little bit light. It's a light game. It's beer and pretzel style, but it's a good light game.
Yeah, I agree. I think that we're not going to say it's not gimmicky, because this is 100% a gimmick. It's a way to get Kerplunk into a dice game, which I personally think is cool. I had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely a light game. It's a little bit more than filler, because it can take like 30 to 45 minutes to play it. 45 minutes is a long game, but it takes a little bit of time to play. It takes a good bit of time to set up. That's probably the biggest negative, is setting it up and like getting the marbles in there and then trying to like shake it to get the marbles down but not have the tentacles all fall out can be a little bit frustrating. So I don't think this is a game for everyone, because some people are gonna look at the price of the game and think, I'm just paying for this giant tower, and if you're like if you're frustrated by that, or you're like, that's ridiculous, then maybe this isn't the game for you, and that's okay. But I think there's gonna be a lot of people, especially if you're a Cthulhu fan, like this is something that you could just have set up all the time because it just looks so cool. And like if you're an Instagrammer and you like to take pictures of board games, how can you not want to take pictures of this? It just looks so cool, which is why I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited I have it. And if you think this is cool, I don't think you're going to be disappointed by the gameplay.
So I do feel like they looked at Kerplunk and like, how can we put this into a game? It hasn't been used in forever. Let's make some gimmick. And it works though, because the name of the game wouldn't make any sense if there wasn't a tower, like Tower of Madness. Like it goes with it. It's perfect. Like they've said, it's kind of gimmicky, and like I said, it could have been like a bag, but I don't you know, with a bag, there's never going to be that, like, okay, I pull this one and I get a whole bunch of bad things or a whole bunch of good things or nothing. Like, it just works so well, and it's a very, like, press your luck kind of feel on top of, you know, a dice game that, like, we said it's a lot like Elder Sign, right? That's the one where, like, you're trying to get a certain pattern of dice. It's kind of, you could even compare it, I guess, to Yahtzee. You have to get the certain pattern. Whoever gets the highest discovery dice, which are the extra 2 dice, is the one that wins it. So you can kind of feel cheated where you're like, yay, I finally got the 1, 2, 3, and I only got a 6 as my total. If somebody else can pull off, getting the 1, 2, 3, they're probably going to get a 7, and I end up losing and not getting those points. So, like, you can kind of feel cheated out of points, but that's just the nature of dice games.
Also, you have the spell cards, and like that one round where Tom's like, ha, I win! And you're like, except for I have this spell card!
Yeah, exactly. So,
still won the game overall, though.
But yeah, I won that round.
Little victories!
I think that the player boards are, like, top notch. I think, like, having the marbles fit on here and roll around, like, it just works really well, and it's very, like, tactile fun. Like, I guess that's another, like, bonus for it. It's like, I like tactile, like, things, and, like, these just feel cool, and they sometimes drop marbles. I really enjoyed this game. It's definitely not a game that's going to get a ton of table time. It's going to be a game that we break out every once in a while, especially on Cthulhu Game Day. See you guys there next
20th.
year. August.
Or for the spectacle of it, you have family members over, if you're wanting to show new people games, like this will like definitely break their expectations. Nobody's going to think you're going to pull out something like this.
If you're at a seance.
You should probably, if you're doing that, if you're bringing new people and you're showing it to them, have it already set up so they don't watch you do this and they're like, maybe we shouldn't do this board gaming hobby.
Are we going to play?
Yeah.
If this sounds like a game that would interest your game group, we'll have a link in the description box down below where you can get yourself a copy.
And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.
We need to investigate this tower.
That's so mad. You think they really like maybe we should investigate that tower with all the fucking tentacles sticking out? And they're like, let's just pull them out one at a time. See if anything falls down.
Okay, so yes, activating potions. You can activate a potion.
Choose.
Activation action.
Game over.